ISO 14001 and Environmental Management Systems EMS Training Module. Good morning, afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We'll be diving into the world of ISO 14001 and Environmental Management Systems, or EMS. Our goal is to understand what they are, why they matter, and how they can benefit both your organization and the environment. Please feel free to ask questions at any point. Before we get into ISO 14001, let's quickly understand what ISO itself is. ISO stands for the International Organization for Standardization. It's a global body that creates and publishes international standards. These standards are essentially guidelines or specifications that help ensure products, services, and systems are safe, reliable, and of good quality. For example, have you ever wondered why your credit card fits perfectly into any ATM? That's thanks to an ISO standard. Or why milk cartons across different brands have similar quality checks? Again, ISO plays a role. These standards are developed by experts from various countries, ensuring a global perspective. Now let's talk about ISO 14001. Simply put, it's a world-renowned standard for environmental management systems. Think of it as a blueprint or a roadmap. Its main purpose is to give organizations a systematic way to manage their environmental responsibilities. It's not about achieving a specific environmental performance level initially, but about setting up a system to continuously improve your environmental performance. It helps you identify what environmental impacts you have, how to manage them, monitor your progress, and ultimately improve. The heart of ISO 14001 lies in a concept called the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle, or PDCA. This is a continuous improvement model. Plan. Here, you identify what your organization does that impacts the environment. For example, using a lot of electricity or generating waste. Then, you set goals, like reducing electricity consumption by 10%. Do. You implement actions to achieve those goals, perhaps installing LED lights or setting up a recycling program. Check. You then monitor if your actions are working. Are you actually reducing electricity? Is recycling effective? Act. Based on what you find, you make adjustments and improvements to your system. This cycle keeps repeating. Other key principles include strong commitment from senior management. They need to support and drive this initiative. The standard also emphasizes continual improvement. Your EMS shouldn't be static. It should constantly evolve and get better. Compliance with all environmental laws and regulations is non-negotiable. It encourages prevention of pollution rather than just cleaning up after it happens. And finally, a life cycle perspective, meaning we think about the environmental impacts of our products or services from raw material extraction all the way to their disposal. This slide explains the three major benefits an organization can get from implementing an environmental management system, EMS. 1. Cost savings. An EMS helps organizations reduce energy consumption, cut down waste, and improve resource efficiency. For example, if a manufacturing plant identifies a leak in its compressed air system, fixing it can save a lot of electricity. Another example is optimizing packaging, which reduces material costs. 2. Improved reputation and brand image. EMS shows that the organization is committed to environmental responsibility. For example, if a hotel chain gets ISO 14001 certified, it can promote itself as eco-friendly, which attracts customers who care about sustainability. 3. Enhanced legal compliance. EMS helps companies systematically track and follow environmental regulations. For example, a chemical plant using EMS can stay updated on pollution laws, reducing the chances of violations or penalties. This slide continues the list of organizational benefits from implementing an EMS. 4. Improved employee morale and engagement. When employees see that their company is environmentally responsible, they feel proud to be part of it. This boosts morale and increases engagement, as they feel their work contributes to a greater cause. 5. Better relationships with stakeholders. EMS builds trust with external parties. Investors, customers, and communities appreciate companies that follow environmentally sound practices. It shows transparency, responsibility, and long-term thinking. 6. Competitive advantage. An EMS can act as a differentiator in the market. It becomes especially useful while bidding for tenders or forming strategic partnerships where environmental performance is evaluated. Of course, a primary reason for EMS is the direct benefits to the environment. We're talking about tangible improvements like reduced pollution, less air pollution from emissions, cleaner water discharges, and less contamination of soil. It leads to the conservation of natural resources. By being more efficient with water, energy, and raw materials, we reduce the strain on our planet. It promotes waste reduction and increased recycling, diverting valuable materials from landfills. Ultimately, it contributes to the protection of biodiversity and ecosystems and helps us move towards a more sustainable future for everyone. Beyond the organization and the environment, an EMS also brings significant benefits to various stakeholders. Customers gain assurance that the products or services they purchase are produced in an environmentally responsible manner. Investors see reduced environmental risk and can be attracted to green investments, potentially leading to better returns. Employees benefit from a safer and healthier workplace, and they take pride in working for a company that cares about the environment. The community benefits from reduced local environmental impact, such as cleaner air and water, and regulators find it easier to monitor compliance and often develop more cooperative relationships with certified organizations. ISO 14001, like many other modern ISO standards, follows a common structure called Annex SL. This is excellent news for organizations that might want to implement multiple management systems, say for quality, ISO 9001, or health and safety, ISO 45001, because the core framework is the same. This makes integration much easier. At a high level, the standard covers these key areas. Context of the organization. Understanding your organization's unique situation, its internal and external issues, and who your interested parties are. Leadership emphasizes that top management must be actively involved and committed. Planning. This is where you identify your environmental aspects, what you do that interacts with the environment, and then plan how to manage them, including setting objectives. Support deals with ensuring you have the right resources, competent people, awareness, communication, and documented information. Operation, how you actually implement your plans day to day, including emergency preparedness. Performance evaluation, how you monitor, measure, and analyze your environmental performance, including conducting internal audits and management reviews. Improvement, how you address nonconformities, take corrective actions, and continuously improve your EMS. Finally, let's clarify some key terms that are crucial for understanding ISO 14001. First, environmental aspect. This is simply any part of what your organization does, sells, or makes that can interact with the environment. For example, if you run a car manufacturing plant, your environmental aspects include the energy you consume, the waste you generate like paint waste or scrap metal, the water you use, and the air emissions from your painting booths. These are things you do that have a potential environmental interaction. Next, environmental impact. This is the change to the environment that results from an environmental aspect. So, if your environmental aspect is energy consumption, The environmental impact could be depletion of natural resources or increased greenhouse gas emissions contributing to climate change. If your aspect is paint waste generation, the impact is soil or water contamination. Then we have interested party, also known as a stakeholder. This is anyone who can affect, be affected by, or believes they are affected by your organization's environmental decisions or activities. For a factory, this could mean your employees, the local community living nearby, your customers, your suppliers, government regulators, investors, and even environmental non-governmental organizations. Lastly, life cycle perspective. This is a crucial concept. It means you don't just look at what happens inside your factory walls. Instead, you consider the environmental aspects and impacts of your product or service from its very beginning, where the raw materials come from, all the way to its end of life, how it's disposed of or recycled. So, for a plastic bottle manufacturer, it's not just about making the bottle. It's about where the oil came from, how the plastic was produced,